Here we go. Welcome back to the HNL Tonight show with your hockey coach, Guru Cole FRENCHY, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. It's October 6th, 5th. I don't know anymore. But the only thing we know is we are back a little bit late. You're absolutely right, Coach. You are late this morning or this evening. Yes. And I lost my guest. Look like the guest is gone. Honestly, I have some kind of problem with the camera and audio. And hopefully he can join us a bit later. If it's not, it's hard to have a plan B when you do something in live. Because when you go live stream, if you don't know what you're going to talk about or you don't know what's happening, but we have only one plan and it does not work, but you're not going to perform very well. So the beauty of this tonight, if it's not showing up, we're going to talk about hockey. That's the first thing. Then I'm going to ask everything. If you have any question about hockey, I can answer this. And then thirdly, talk about the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to talk about what's happening around the league. The last minute, we'll see. And look like Trevor just knocked the door. So it'll be interesting if Trevor is around. We can bring him in and we'll bring him aboard the next couple of minutes. And glad to have, for sure, to have our friend Trevor. So what happened if he show up? Trevor is going to talk about the Calgary Flame, what's going on at the main camp, talking about the best six division, talk about a little bit more about Sean Monahan, of course, and then Emil Henneman and some other players. He knows he wants to talk about Logan MEILLEUR. That's what's happening tonight at the show. And of course, at the end of the show, we're going to talk about the FRENCHY quiz. We're going to go back with 5 questions at the end. And Mr. Nartab take the lead right now with over 7 points, I believe, behind, in front of Vinny James 007. A lot of people in the chat tonight. We welcome everybody. Thanks for being part of the show. And don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. And I don't want to mention everybody because I would like to bring the guests already in the house with us. We'll see if everything works. Like the beauty of this, when we do live stream, you never know. But hopefully, Trevor will be ready to rock and roll. And let's further ado to welcome directly from the Calgary area, hockeybars.com writer, Mr. Trevor Neufeld is in the house tonight. Welcome aboard, Mr. Trevor.
Hey, FRENCHY, how you doing?
Pretty good. I look like you look in better shape right now.
Yeah, I had to get my old computer hooked up, so I have some excellent.
That's awesome to hear that. Secondly, I want to mention everybody. Be sure they are maybe worried about this. Now you don't see double right now. It's a 2 guy with a bald head. So you want to be sure you see properly, and you say, "Oh, is it FRENCHY right now? I see twice." No. It's really Trevor Neufeld directly from Calgary. First of all, give us a little bit a little bit a bio resume of honestly for you and how long do you write in hockey and everything like that. That'd be great to hear more about yourself.
Okay, well, I've been writing for Hockey Buzz for a little over a year now. I started with the Vegas Golden Knights, writing about them, but I'm from Calgary. So essentially, I kind of wanted to kind of budge my way in there, and eventually I got the job. So it's been a lot of in-depth coverage for the last year, just essentially getting used to the beat of it. But I've been watching Calgary Flames since I was very young. I'm a coach in Calgary as well as a player. I'm very gritty, but I'm about 5'7", so you know how far that goes.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. That's awesome. How did you? Are you originally from Calgary downtown or?
Yeah, just up the Red Mile. So that's it's pretty nice. I was about 14 when the Flames went on that 2004 run, and yeah, that was really something.
That's awesome to hear that. Now, how do you like? What's your routine with the hockey bars usually? Like, give like a little bit description of what you do usually per week or daily.
Okay, well, I'm on there writing just about every day. So pre-game, post-game, thought pieces, just trying to find things to drum up conversation and looking for little things people don't notice during the game. So, it's fun to follow the guys that don't really like each other and watch them closely,
I
see
see.
what they're doing. Write about that, Other people won't always spot that. I think that's That's something you can really carve out at Hockey Buzz is identifying the little things, the little human battles that people go through.
That's awesome to hear that. Of course, when you love the passion, when you love the game, you write about something, and the passion get out of your body, honestly. And it's not work; it's more about you love to enjoy what you do every single day. So that's pretty cool to say that. Do you go to game? Like, if I said to you, how many games do you go, or during the season,
Oh,
or
I go to quite a few games. I was at the one just a couple days ago. I've been to most of the home preseason games. My dad's season tickets holder since the dome opened, so I've just been trying to get out to as many as I can. If he's got tickets, I'm going to that because he's got good tickets. But I'll try and get out to any game I can, just buy bad tickets. And the AHL team's in Calgary this year,
that's
so
awesome.
now there's more to watch, and the AHL is crazy. So there's a lot of rough stuff going on there, and I'm excited.
Like any reporter in Calgary work at the Settle Dome, and they always the story about the top of the ceiling when you walk around. Did you have any kind of experience about this, or did you have like something like this, or?
I heard that the ceiling was kind of falling apart, and I'm kind of wondering if that's just the owners trying to stir up trouble to kind of get the media or the public kind of worried about the condition of the dome because they want a new stadium and they're trying to get the public to pay for all like a whole bunch of it, and that's fair. But at the same time, it sounds like they're kind of they're just businessmen. They're trying to get as much out of the city as they can, and yeah, I don't know.
I
So
heard
yeah,
like
I
the
haven't
story
seen it too
about
much.
what I was trying to explain is like when you walk over there, like you describe the game or you write on newspaper, everything like this, you have to walk at the top like a catwalk
Oh
all around
yeah,
over the ice. Everybody, like they said, it's really like a little bit freaking when you walk over there because you see the plur,
yeah.
everything. They're scared to drop
Oh
something,
yeah.
and
Suddenly your pen's on the ice. Yeah,
yeah,
it's I've been up there. I got a tour when I was younger, and then a couple times during the Hitman games in the WHL, I'd go and with a buddy, and be getting late into the game, so you've had a few pops, so we'd go and just walk up and check out the section, and
that's
a
awesome.
couple times security would come and they'd be like, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself." We're like, "Oh,
That's funny. We want to meet before we talk about Calgary Flame. I know already people pop up some questions, but maybe some news around the league. And I think you want to talk about front case. I would love to hear from you, and I will let you go start with what you want to start to talk about.
Okay, well, I mean, you guys cover the Habs a lot. It's interesting to see Mailloux signed. It's pronounced Mailloux, right? I'm an Alberta boy, so I the French pronunciation. You feel free to correct me.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, Logan Gmayu.
Yeah, he's a big defenseman. So that's yeah. I saw some footage and he looks good, but I haven't seen too much of him. I don't know whether he was at camp. I've just been so focused on the West games that I haven't been able to watch too much of the East stuff.
Yeah, Mayo is just signing a contract, an entry level contract of 3 years with them, a big 6'4", play for the London Knights. And right now, because he have an injury, surgery at the right shoulder after a fight one night at the WHL last season. He been with the Montreal Canadiens for the last couple of months around skating in and off and training with the Montreal. But unfortunately, just starting to come back on the ice. He does a lot of edge work with the Laval Rocket. But great news for the Montreal to sign, honestly. Logan Mailloux for the next 3 years. With Caden Cooley, we have already. I'm sure you know Cooley because he played with Edmonton all
Oh
King
yeah,
last season and is a part of the. You know how this works. And I think Logan Mailloux is really the one after him is going to be the best prospect for the Montreal as the defenseman. Plus, he's the right defenseman, what the Montreal does not have. And then a lot of people compare to Shea Weber. And I don't want to be much involved with his story in the back. And, it's a
yeah,
full, it's behind. And I don't want to go that way. We have enough to talking about
yeah.
Hockey Canada right now anyway, but we can move on to the next thing. But maybe you're maybe the most connected with Shane Monahan. He's been at your backyards for many, many years. One at some point
Oh
was
yeah.
really an amazing, great hockey player. Unfortunately, the injuries stopped him to performing. But a little bit more what you thinking, or maybe what you expect from Sean Monahan with the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, Sean is he's changed as a player quite a bit over the last few years, and it's because his hips started taking the mobility away, and he's getting all these surgeries at the end of the year. But last year, you were seeing there was games where he's getting it back, and he's starting to get his top speed back, but his edge work was just kind of still kind of not really there. But when he started, we were just calling him money hands. He was just sinking penalty shots, breakaways, and at some point that seemed to slip away from him, and it was tough. And then he started getting into a different kind of game, getting closer to the net, more tip-ins, more getting it putting away the garbage, and then his game evolved, and his numbers were still not bad. Even last year, his hip was broken down, and he's sitting at around a half point a game. So that's not too bad, considering he wasn't even in the top six. He'd just get power play time sometimes. But I saw he got breakaway, and I was thinking, oh, here comes money hands, and Matt Murray's shut him down. But I think there's still some good. I think we're going to see some good hockey out of Monahan still. I'm hoping his hip's a lot better now because you got the second side of it fixed, and hip issues aren't fun.
Yeah, we watched him. He played only one game Monday night, and it was not too bad at all to see him skating like this. So we'll be interested. He's going to play for the next two games before the season start, and he's a big body, and we know he's not the fastest guy on the ice, but I think he can bring some kind of another dimension for the Montreal Canadiens, and to have another big guy, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", and front and middle, I think that's a great one to do that, and that'll be. We'll be interesting how he's going to know. We know he's at the last season of his contract, and he'll become a UFA next year. He's only turning 28 or 29 on October 12th. So that's another one we're going to follow up for sure for Montreal Canadiens. But honestly, we can talk Montreal all night long if we want to, and people will be excited. But we want to talk about Calgary Flame. I have a lot already the pop out the question are flying right now. But before I jump in those questions, maybe give us a little bit an overview about the training camp for the Calgary for the last couple of days. And we know they're losing. We're now 3-0 in the middle of the second period at 6:31 to go remaining at the second period. They play tonight against the Winnipeg Jet and Winnipeg.
Well, that game's actually pretty interesting. I was doing the report for it today, and I was trying to get the lineups down, and I could get everything except for the Winnipeg goalie. So I'm I'll put it to the side. And it turns out it's actually a pretty interesting storyline because it's Rittich versus Vladar. So two Czech goalies, both played for the Flames. Maybe there's some lessons to be learned from Vladar from Rittich, but I don't know. I think Rittich started getting issues with his glove hand. But anyway, it's right now there's a battle of two Czech goalies going on. Great goalie battle, and it's on CalgaryFlames.com. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty rough stream. I had it going, and then I switched my computer. And also, how much can you watch a game and have a conversation too?
That's good. You have anything you
doesn't like that?
Do you have anything during the main camp pay more attention, or maybe something happening there? Or we know they tried for Huberdeau. They got Weghorst, Mackenzie Weghorst, and now they have Nazem Kadri. And with all that kind of chemistry, they have to figure out what you maybe a little bit more pay your attention during the main camp and exhibition game.
So the Flames have about 8 or 9 defensemen that could make an NHL team right now, and waivers are coming up. They can't have all those guys. So they have Uyghur and Hanifin Anderson, and they have a top 4 that's pretty much set, but they have Shillington and Zadorov, and then we got Milosh. And Stone is just killing it this preseason. He's actually outscoring everybody. He's got 4 points. Everybody else has got at most 3. It's crazy. Yeah, Michael Stone. So I was kind of thinking earlier, like if the Habs are looking for their next Paul Byron, a guy they kind of pick up off the waiver wire from the Flames, you should see Mike Stone right now. He is just, his shot is unstoppable, and he is just playing the best he's ever played.
It's funny you talk about him because during the summer, we were looking about some players, maybe they can sign as a right defenseman, not on the left defenseman, but a right defenseman. And the name of Michael Stone pop up all the time for me to explain people, look, he's 32 years old. He would bring experience. He has some kind of leader. And he's not a guy where he understands his role. So he's not to be in the lineup every night if you don't need him. Like, like he's been there. So it's more easier. You can get him under $1 million. And honestly, he got a PDO or he's signed already with the Flame? Cannot recall it.
He's on a, he's on a PTO right now, but
Oh wow,
I think they're going to try and make room for him. But yeah, he could anybody could sign him right now. There must be something about him liking Calgary because it doesn't all add up. He played great in the playoffs last year too. He was putting up points, hits, like he was covering it. He had low amount of minutes because he was kind of alternating because almost all of Calgary's blue line was just broken down. But yeah, he could help out a team like the Habs a lot. I
definitely
think
he came back when Daniel he was hurt during the playoff. Honestly, now we know the story about Valley McKee and possibly Connor McKee. If they
oh
keep
yeah.
them, they have to put one of the two on the waiver. If you have maybe
Mhm.
give us a breakout about what you expect on the defenseman. We know the regular players, but more like the Michael Stone and possibly Valley
Oh yeah.
McKee and Connor McKee. Do you expect one of them or two of them or someone have to go
Yep.
on the waiver whatsoever? Stone can have any contract. He can go anywhere after that.
Well, there's Mackey, Valimaki, and Stone are all waiver eligible, and none of them make the top six right now. I mean, Stone should, but I don't know. It's just not giving him the room right now. Even Nicholas Milosh doesn't make it. Maybe maybe Shillington is out for a while because he's out with some personal family stuff that he has to deal with, and hopefully that resolves itself. But I think Mackey is the best player of them. If he hits waivers, somebody's going to take him. I'm pretty sure Montreal's pretty high up on it, but Valimaki is an interesting case because he's got a lot better tools, but something mentally. He even acknowledged in an interview recently that there's just a mental issue
Really?
blocking, and he's just yeah, he seems to be playing worse and worse as camp goes on. So maybe Sutter's just pressing the wrong buttons, but yeah, I don't know about You kind of hear rumors that he was just disappointed by what happened when he got sent down, and then Mackey passed him on the depth chart, and Mackey's playing better. It's unfortunate, but now it's just he seems really caught up in his own head.
We know
So
already
I
Flame
think he
have
could
already
do
solid,
well.
six defensemen already set up over there. It's not easy to make some, and a space or a spot for someone else, and they fight a lot. So possibility, like you said, Melash and other player could be possibly to be on the waiver before they can send an American Hockey League. But before we go to the next thing, we want to welcome a couple of people. William McClary, Steve G, Bryce Garrett, and Alan Vaillancourt. Welcome aboard. Thanks to be a part of the show tonight. We appreciate everybody. If you
Hello.
have any question, please put the letter Q. I'm going to go there in the next couple of minutes. The next subject I want to talk about this, Mr. Trevor, is honestly Wegar contract, Mackenzie Wegar. We know at some point they have some kind of negotiation. Any,
Mhm.
rumor or anything you hear for the last couple of days about that situation?
So Elliot Friedman's saying they're getting pretty close, but there's also a bit of a deadline because apparently his agent says they don't want to discuss. They don't want to go. They don't want to negotiate during the season. So that starts in 8 days. That's interesting. Yeah, if they don't get a deal done heading into the season, then that number that he's going to sign for could either go up or down. That could be quite the gamble for Uyghur, or it could it could burn him if he doesn't get the minutes on the Flames because there's such a logjam, especially on the power play. And yeah, it's interesting to watch. He's kind of just fleshing it out in camp and trying to find his place. But tonight he's playing with Chris Tanev, and you can't really do wrong. I think I could put up a decent season with Chris Tanev. Uh, so it was interesting to watch, but he doesn't work with Zadorov too well. He's okay with Zadorov; it's reliable enough. And then he played with Hannafin a little bit in the period too, and he looked pretty good with him too. But
They
I've heard
use
that the
him on the right
contract is going
side
to
or
be
the left
around.
side, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. He plays either side. I believe he's right-handed, but he plays the left.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be wrong on that, but
No, you're absolutely
yeah,
right.
he's good on
He's a
either
right
side.
shooter, but he played for the Panthers on the left side beside Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah,
So we know that Anifin play usually with Anderson last season, and then you have Cobb Branson was with Zadorov and last year, and then you have Danev. Danev was on the side last year with the Flames. So, it's another one we're going to see follow up about this. If you do think they sign him, what it would be your expectation? Not on the longer of the contract, but more on the AAV per season. Do you have any expectation, or you think or maybe your own prediction if you think the Flame will open the door for how much money for him?
My prediction was a little higher, but I'm hearing some people say it's going to come in around the comparably Hampus Lindholm's contract, so about 6.5 times 8. So I could live with that. 8 years is a long time, but 6.5 is a solid number too. So we'll see where he fits in too. I don't know if he never really finds a fit. It's just weird
Yeah.
signing a guy for that long. It's I had that same feeling about Huberdeau. Like Trelving hadn't even met him until he acquired him. It's just nuts. Now he's on for 9 years. Wow, it's just crazy times in Calgary.
You're going to love
nine
him.
years
I
of
can tell you
Huberdeau.
that. I've been around Huberdeau in
Yeah,
Florida for many years, and people will love Jonathan Huberdeau. Maybe the best, left winger in NHL. I know Goodrow and everybody else, but you're going to see a guy can pass the puck like anybody you see in your life. The guy is just magistral, and he's going to bring a lot of point over there. And people say, "Oh, he's going not many points." Look, he played with one of the best underrated players, center in the NHL, Elias Langholm. And the kids just scored 40 goals last season, so I expect the same way. And they
yeah,
just have to figure out the right wings on the right side. But anyhow, I think you, as a fan of the Flame, you're going to love Hubert. We'll see what's happening. I know we got this a little bit earlier, but William asked you a question. By the way, William, welcome back. Is there any information on the new stadium, hopefully to build in Calgary or anything? I know some kind of negotiation was break out or break down with between the city and the owners Calgary Flame. And we know the Settle Dome needs some kind of repair or fix a new building somehow, somewhere.
yep. One thing I really noticed in that playoff series is how much louder the crowd is in Edmonton, just because of the way a stadium is built. And I noticed that seemed pretty. That just seemed like it had a huge effect on the series. Now where it's at, it just seems like it's a pretty bitter dispute between city council and the owners. And I can't help but notice that like the owners are getting close to retiring, so this might be like them loading up to sell the team. That's my theory, at least. Uh, but I'd say they're eventually going to come to an agreement. There's another theory of mine, since we're just going to hit arena theories, is that I'm hearing that Alberta might be open to another Olympic bid. Now, the way that we got a lot of funding for the Settle Dome is actually through the 1988-89 Olympics. So
Yeah,
that might be a way for try and get some federal money involved. I think that might be the case. I don't know. People just don't want to spend money right now. Oil's doing great. What are they afraid of?
that's a great time to be a Flame famous anyway. William asked you
Yeah.
this question: who do you think will make a biggest impact out of the forward? Maybe a dark horse or someone like this. We know what Liberdo can do in Langhorne, but behind them, or maybe a player on the right winger. Who do you expect at the same time, maybe first line for with them?
Well, right winger Blake Coleman is having an insane camp right now. Like we're looking at the numbers, and he's outchancing the opposition about 85%. He is just playing out of his mind right now. Him and Backlund are going. They're playing really well. And then on the other end of things, Toffoli's coming out slow. So I'm kind of wondering if Coleman's eventually going to find his way up onto that line, because yeah, eventually they're going to need a guy going. I think Toffoli's just kind of starting the year out a little slower than he should be, but his passing is still good. He's still pretty subtle passer, but his shot's weird. His skating's a little off.
What we at with Tyler Toffoli, by the way?
Well, he's on the first line, so he's playing with Huberdeau and he's and Lindholm. But yeah, I was at the game the other day. I've seen, and he just seems to be a little wonky. I think not a lot of those Habs made it out of the that playoff without some sort of injury. That's just carrying on. Like I don't have to tell you guys about that.
I
But
see.
so
The
I think
next
that
question
maybe
will
that's
be
carrying on.
for what type of year do you anticipate for Anifan and this year as a defenseman on the left defenseman top pairing?
Hanifin looks great this year. He is skating well. He's throwing hits. I think he got a little banged up in a game right before the playoffs, and that's kind of why we saw less of Hannifin's A game in the playoffs. And then him and Anderson got eaten alive against the Oilers, but he looks good this year. And yeah, I think he just is a game against the Predators, and they had that Tanner Janot just running people over. And I think he gave a good one to Hannafin, but I think he's back, and I think this is a big year for Hannafin. I think he is probably pretty stuck on that top line, and he's probably going to get a little more power play this year too.
Yeah, you have to remember he's only 25 years old, turned 26, and he played his best season last season, 48 points with them.
Yeah,
You really figure out now how kind of players he was. Of course, he was drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes 5th overall pick, and then he showed exactly what he looked
yeah,
like. And I
great.
think overall that trade, the Calgary win that trade with Langholm and Hannafin together, honestly.
Yeah,
And, it would be interesting what he's going to do. But you talk about a guy set up the back of the defense as he played a biggest role for the Flying for sure for
oh
them.
yeah,
About that.
yeah. He's big
I
time
want to talk a
minutes.
little
He's
bit,
a good defenseman.
Trevor, about the fact, let me turn off this prospect. We have a couple of prospects we want to talk about, and then we have a couple of questions after that in the chat about this. We know
Sure.
everybody, the Montreal dream about him, but I don't think so they would get him. Dustin Wolf, the goaltender, Dustin Wolf, and
Yeah.
of course from Montreal, the province of Quebec, Pelletier. Maybe and maybe
Mhm.
other prospect we don't know name. Maybe tell us a little bit more what you think about those what they did so far in the main camp.
Well, Wolf did pretty much everything he could last year as a rookie or AHL goalie. He won goaltender of the year, put up just outstanding numbers. They went pretty deep into the playoffs. So, yeah, it's hard to really see where Wolf is going to start, where his ceiling is, really. I'm interested in seeing it. Uh, I'm going to skip the short pun on that one, where his ceiling is. But, yeah, at the same time, it's going to be tough because Markstrom's got that contract for another 4 years. So you wonder about the timing. And then you have Daniel Vladar there too. So maybe it'll be that Markstrom gets a little injured because he does get injured. So maybe then Wolf will start getting games, and then we might see him really start pushing for a spot. But Vladar just looks so good in camp so far that he's not getting that spot yet. But it's gonna be fun to see where Wolf does or
I
where Wolf
see.
goes. And then Pelche has been interesting in camp. He's been extremely accountable defensively. And you think Sutter would be all about that, but I think that they just want to give him another year in the AHL. Like, it seems to make sense. I don't know, Sutter doesn't like smaller forwards. I don't get it, but
He's a
he's
left
got
winger,
Matthew
right?
Phillips. Yep, his left wing. Just some insane plays, just with his edge work, just with pivoting, changes in direction, just bam, bam, just immediately going the other way. I was just watching some AHL games from last year, and he would just be rocketing off. He ended several games just doing that, just beating people, just out skating them. That is a very interesting player that we're going to see be an NHLer at some point. But it doesn't look like it's going to be this year very much. Maybe you'll get a call up here or
We know
there.
they don't have a Coronado because he's still at the Harvard University, so one of the top best prospect over there. Any other prospect, they show up this year at the main camp, or really that's really the two top one over there.
Yeah, there's Adam Clapka. We signed him out of the Czech Republic. He's 22. He's 6'8" and 135 pounds, and he actually can skate pretty well, and he shoots pretty well, and he's learning to fight. he's he's not a yeah he's been dropping the gloves, but he kind of got tooled up a little bit against a guy in Vancouver, and then yeah he's down in I guess in Calgary because there are affiliates in Calgary, but he's on the Wranglers right now. They're going to polish him up, but that's going to be a guy that's probably going to make the NHL. And then there's another guy. He's on an AHL contract. I'm just looking at my notes here, and it's Mitch Mclean. This guy is just he's 28, so he's not really a prospect, but he looks like an NHLer already. He had a breakout year in the AHL, 17 goals, but he is just knocking people off their feet. He's fighting. He fought Darnell Nurse twice in a game earlier last week. He won one of the fights, and yeah, I'd like to see him get an NHL contract, but there's always guys you pick out, and then management doesn't really
Definitely
agree.
about this. And Eternal, I have a question for you. Mr. Eternal R is in the house.
Okay.
Is Wolf going to push Vladar out? We know Vladar is on the last season of his contract, and he become a
Yeah.
UFA. And then I'm going to put you on the hot seat after that. So give us an answer first of all with that
Okay.
one.
Okay. I don't think so because Vladar has actually just been taking over games in the preseason. So maybe, an injury happens. I mentioned David Riddick before. Like, he just dominated for the Flames until he didn't. So, maybe there's that turning point for goalies. Sometimes it's just momentum based. So maybe, but not yet. I don't know. Not right now. But things happen. So you never know.
So let's move on. Like I said, put you on the hot seat. But we have 3 questions. It was almost the same thing. So first of all, in our top, we
Okay.
answer to you about anything and the rookie crack your lineup. So we talk about this. Bobby game winning. We just talk about the goaltending and then eternal too. So I will say to you, let's move on to 2023 already. At the end of the day, next year over there. What it would be the situation right now, because now you have Wolf knock the door and then Vladar is going to become a UFA. If
Yep.
you're thinking about Trevor, the GM for the Flame at Trevor, what you would think, what do you think he will do?
Well, I think Vladar is going to get some more money, so I don't think we're going to be able to pay him. And since we have Wolf, that would make sense for us to move him up. Whether the organization wants to give him reps, I think that would be interesting. But yeah, maybe next year it'll be Peltier, maybe that Cole Schwint, the third guy that we got in that trade that sent Kachuk to Florida. He might be pushing. He's very, very quiet game, but he's a very solid center. So he might be pushing for a spot. And then the question in Calgary is just what are we doing with Matthew Phillips? Because he might be a UFA next year if he doesn't want to sign during the season, and we are not giving him a chance. He's 5'6", and he's about 160 pounds soaking wet. So I don't think Daryl's going to give him a chance. But I think he deserves a spot in the 23. He might he deserves it. Is all I'm saying. As for the defense, I think we're pretty locked up. I don't
Oh yeah,
I don't think we're going to see too many changes like Mackey. That's about it.
or you are
I
all
think
set
that
up there for sure about the
yeah,
defenseman
they're
about
doing
this. You talk about Vladar a
they're
little
doing
bit.
great.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, well, I think Vladar is going to go off, and yeah, he won't be a Flame as of next year. He's
Do
just
you
too
think
good to be a
Vladar
good
is
backup.
a potential to become a goaltender number one or not?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I think the only reason that he didn't have better numbers later in the year last year is because he didn't get enough reps. Because like Sutter's got a system and he leans on his goalies hard. So yeah, he was not going to give. He gave Vladar about 20 some starts. I'm not looking at the stats right now, uh, but yeah, I think he's going to get a little bit more because Markstrom's getting a little older, and I think it kind of bit us last year. I think Markstrom was injured during the playoffs too. He didn't look like himself.
I see. I love to bring my guests on the hot seat sometimes, so I'm
Sure. Yeah.
surprised them, and I'm going to give you this proposal over there, and I want to hear you because you and me, like we die hard with their own team, right? You're a big fan of the Flame,
Yeah.
everything like that. So here we go. I'm Chicago Blackhawks. And first of all, the window of the Flame, it's not for 10 years. The window right now is really for the next 3-4 years. What for me,
Yeah.
that's what they are targeting. They want to win a Stanley Cup. They want to get there. And it's not like the
Absolutely.
end of the contract Uber, though. They really have a great team right now. And I think for the next 3 years, they are going to be the
Yeah.
contender for the top five, maybe worst case, 8 team in NHL for what I saw.
Yeah.
Here's my proposal over there.
Hannafin, Anderson, Lindholm. Those
Yeah.
contracts. When
So
they're done, it's over.
exactly. So Chicago knocked the door, said, look, I'm sending you Patrick Kane, but we want Dustin Wolf and other players, but not my targeting is really Dustin Wolf. Knowing you have Max Strom and Vladar, and now you fix your problem with the right winger. And I don't know Kane want to go to USA. I don't care about and Canada. So it's not point. My point to you, do you make a trade and involve Dustin Wolf when you get a player like Patrick Kane? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, I would make that. Yeah, I mean, I think Flames fans have been a bit too hard with goalie prospects. I just think we've grown to not really expect them to pan out. So, I mean, obviously Wolf's done everything, but I think we've just kind of been like, well, we'll sign somebody, and that's always just kind of yeah, we're getting to the heart of it really. So I think I would give Wolf away for a year of Patrick Kane, but yeah, it's pretty dumb, but. Patrick Kane's pretty awesome too.
So let's go a little bit deeper because we know about the right wingers, maybe where they have maybe a old or something they're missing, possibly to get the next level, whatever it is. We know Matthew Tkachuk, what he was with them, and then they lost Goudreau, understand that. Now, for upcoming season, but I want to start that question over there. Are you looking or thinking or see possibly the Calgary, they are not done yet? When I said they're not done yet, maybe looking for add more a forward, possibly a right winger around the league before the season starts, or the next 10 days, or during the season, or wait at the trade deadline, see what they add, and possibly to make a big splash to get a bigger player as a right winger.
I'm thinking next 10 days before camp ends. I think that there's another trade lurking. There's no way that we're entering the season and putting Mackey and probably Stone and just a number of defensemen. Milosh might even hit waivers, and I could see a lot of those guys getting picked up. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Treliving's going to trade somebody, and we're going to be looking at somebody that was an addition. They picked up this Zahorna guy off waivers. I watched him a little bit today. 6'6", big boy. Now we got two giant Slavic players with the Z starting in their names. Him and Zadorov. It's kind of fun, but I think there's more. There's more coming, and the first line just doesn't look like it's gelling. It doesn't look like this is a team that's going to go as far as the core really would enable. I think they need another right wing.
Yeah, they have $1.5 million, by the way, on the cap friendly they have. So you have a couple of space. And usually what you do, you try to be close to the 82.5 right now to have that kind of, if you have a long-term injury reserve, that helping them, everything like that. So that'd be great.
Yep.
And, maybe give us a little bit question going to go flying around right now. Objective analysis about Max Strom. We know we talk about goaltender. And Max Strom, what is now? What do you expect? We have an amazing, great year last season. Of the fact he flopped always against the Oilers. This question will become to you a little bit sooner. But Max Strom had 9 shootout last year. Carry on that team. He really played solidly for them until he crumbled on the playoff. But what do you point you for the upcoming season about Max Strom?
He's going to live and die on his knees, I'd say. I think if his knee goes out, then he turns into what we saw last year in the playoffs, but we saw during the season that he can steal games. So right now he looks healthy. He looks like he's ready to go. I wouldn't have any problem putting him on a fantasy team or anything like that. I think he's going to get probably a few less shutouts, but he's definitely going to be quality Markstrom this year.
And, definitely. Go ahead.
He's getting up there, and he has a lot of tread on the tires, I'd say. He's had a lot of injuries. So, it's like I mentioned before, goalie seasons change in a moment. So he's good until he isn't. And it's good that we have Vladar and Wolf currently waiting just in case that happens. But yeah, Markstrom's he's just an awesome goalie to have. It's a weird time in the NHL for goalies.
Yeah,
there's not that many truly great goalies out there.
Yeah, absolutely right about this. Many teams looking for goalies. Talk about upcoming season for the Flame. So I want to ask you, what do you, not right now on the ranking, we finished first, second, third, whatever it is, but more about how many points you expect them to get at the end of the year next season?
I'd say they'd be around 105. So they'll be in the playoff picture. I don't think they're going to have as good of a year as last year. They just Monahan and Tkachuk, or not Monahan, Gaudreau and Tkachuk just had these set plays that they just took over games with, and Lindholm obviously was the trigger on that. So, yeah. And the question: Do the Flames win the division? Well, honestly, if Edmonton can hold up on if Jack Campbell holds up, then they probably got the division. But yeah, Calgary could do it, but there's a lot of work to be done right now, and right now I'm not really seeing a division win.
Question for one here. Excluding the Oilers, who bring more competition to the Flame and the Pacific?
Well, if the Golden Knights are healthy, then that one they're competing for the Stanley Cup. So I mean, God knows what's going on in the Golden Knights infirmary. They're constantly injured. Let me just pull up. There was one. The Canucks are going to be a team that's going to be surprise a lot of people. After they hired Bruce Boudreau, they were a playoff team. Their points percentage, they're a playoff team. And Thatcher Demko very arguably the best goalie in the Western Conference, maybe the NHL on any given night at least. So a really good goalie and a team that's all working in the same direction, like Boudreau can make them do. It's I think people will be surprised with the Canucks.
Without you just mentioned about this, but possibly, what is the expectation? Do you think the Flame offense would be better this season?
No, unfortunately, I don't think they will. I think Huberdeau is going to get comfortable, and he's going to find some line mates that'll be working with him. And maybe we could talk later in the season. Maybe we'll have a different right wing to talk about in a different line. But right now, no, it's just offensively, Gaudreau is just insane, and then Kachuk is very underrated in terms of just so many intangibles, and I just don't see it. It could be, but no, I don't think so.
Next question is about what happening to Matt Sargent. Did he retire? Everything was a part of the organization.
He actually is on the coaching staff for the Hitmen in the WHL now, and he does some media spots too. So, or he did until he got that job. So yeah, he's still kind of around. He's he's enjoying Calgary, and yeah, I gotta love Matt Stajan. He's in the FNUF trade.
That's awesome. Luciano asked this question: if they met the Oilers and again in the playoff, what did the Flame need to do to beat them, and what do you think you would have to do to get better against the Edmonton Oilers?
They need to be healthy, and they need to obviously play McDavid and Draisaitl better. But I think health of the blue line, like their blue line, was just broken by the end of it. And obviously, Markstrom's got to be healthy too. So, they got to play the way they can, and they really lost their game during the playoffs.
Exactly about this. I tried to get something else. Calgary will most likely finish second place. If you are Calgary, will you play Markstrom last game last season?
I would, but no, Daryl isn't. Daryl Sutter is going to ride Markstrom if he can, but maybe he's learned a bit, but he's been coaching for how long, and he always does this. So I think I would, but he won't.
We talk about Tarasenko as another player, right winger, possibility to get somewhere somehow at the end of his last contract, honestly, with the St. Louis Blues. Do you see a move? We talked about Patrick Kane earlier because I want to start to see what you can do, but do you think the Flame will maybe try to make someone like bigger, no name, a player like Tarasenko, Kane, join the team before the trade deadline or at the trade deadline?
It makes you wonder if if Wolf, not David Wolf, Dustin Wolf would be the thing going back. I think he'd be a great fit, but yeah, I think that'd be it'd be a nice fit. I wonder what the Blues would be on about. They were talking a lot because they were involved in those Kachuk trade discussions. So there's a rapport between those two GMs.
Great question from Steve is a big fan of the Colorado Avalanche. How do you feel about the addition of Kadri and what your expectation for him? Great question.
I am a huge fan of Kadri. I'm thinking of getting a jersey. He does so many things, just so many nice plays in the defensive zone and the neutral zone that really don't find their way onto the highlight reel. So I'm just a huge fan. And yeah, he's got that snarl. It'll be interesting seeing Daryl, sending him out and utilizing him because Kadri's a mean guy too. But he's also just so fast and so good in the neutral zone. I'm very happy to get Kadri.
We know do you feel like he stabilized the line, the center line with it? We know we have back line behind him now. Is it like helping more the Flame overall? Because honestly, they have I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. 40% of all the point came from the first line last year, maybe more. And then the rest was like three line. We know we don't talk about Matt Jepani right now, Dylan Dubé and all the players they have at Coleman, but what do you feel like the fact they really don't line the top three center can compete with the top 10 in NHL when you have Backlund, Kadri, and Lindholm? Do you think this is a plus for the Flame, or you prefer because now the right winger is really now the old for them?
It's going to be hard to score on the Flames this year with those three centers. It's going to be real hard. We might see a lot better defensive results than last year. If we're giving up a bit of offense, then we're going to see much better defense.
The next question, How much, he said, this question just pop up, but how much does Calgary help the Calgary Flame power play? My second question following this one would be, Calgary did 87 points last season. Maybe you can ask what your prediction for him for 22-23.
It's going to be hard to put a number down on it, but he had quite a few power play points, especially when McKinnon got injured last year, if I remember correctly. So I think he's going to get a solid spot on the second power play unit. Maybe even on the first, just playing either, maybe on the right side, or you never know where he might plug in. But I think we're gonna see a good amount of points from Kadri in terms of power play production.
Would be really interesting for sure. And after asking this question for you, were you surprised at what sort of inability of adapting to the Star last year and the playoff? What do you feel about this? So I know they play seven games, but I think for me, what Jake Ottinger was really the one make a big difference. Honestly, they could beat him in 5 games if it was not him on my eyes. But what do you feel about this question? Sort of inability to follow what's going on with the Dallas Star.
Well, Sutter versus Boness in a coaching battle. That series was not really fun to watch. It was just like pulling teeth. You're just so stressed out. Uh, yeah, and just to elaborate on that thought, he was just kind of rolling lines against Edmonton too, so he wasn't really matching lines. Sutter's got a winning record, so you got to give him a bit of credit, but at the same time, there's questions to be asked. Like matching lines seems like a no-brainer. Uh, yeah, there's you don't mess with success. You don't fix what isn't broken. But if he had a more healthy blue line last year, I think Sutter wouldn't have had so many questions about his coaching.
Yep, so right about this, Chicago asked this question. I'm sorry about it. Do you think do you see Zary Belty make it to the final roster or both, or be sent down?
I could see. I got a bug on my arm. Sorry. I think Zari has the better chance. He looked pretty good in preseason, and he got sent down, but I think that's more of a contract issue. So we might actually see Zari back up, but he's a center naturally. He can play wing. He actually impressed on wing, but you never know. Uh, Give me a buddy. Yeah, I got that bug there. What are you doing in here? Yeah, apologies, but yeah, I think Zari has the better chance. He's just playing a little bit better, and yeah, Sutter wants to give an extra year to Peltier. I'd love to see both make the team a little more, but it's a logjam especially on left wing.
Awesome. What player do you think we have a breakout this season? And maybe a one, of course, I would say to add this one, a player maybe in regression compared to last season.
Well, I think we're going to see actually a lot more from Nikita Zadorov. I think he's going to be playing a more prominent role. I don't know if it's going to be a breakout offensively, but I think we're going to see a lot more of Nikita Zadorov. Sutter was pointing him out as the best defenseman so far in preseason, which is insane, considering all the good defensemen on that top four. But yeah, I think he's going to take a major step. And I mean, it's hard to say that Manjapan would be taking another step forward, but I think he's going to go back to, do another 35 goal, 30 goal season. So I think between those two, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot further breaking out beyond that. But, you never know. The bottom six is just a little jammed up for the time being for too many breakout seasons.
We know Kadri, not Kadri, but Katsu was playing on a power play unit number one. They play almost a 3-2 over there. When I said 3-2, they play like two defensemen, I believe, and three forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Whereas we normally last year we were rocking one defenseman. So there's an opportunity maybe even for Kadri to play on the other side of the blue line on that, or it depends if they're playing umbrella or overload on it. But I think he might get a chance on the other point. That would be interesting. There's a few guys. I could see Huberdeau getting that point and then moving Kadri to the middle.
So my point was trying to move to you. It was like you have no spot for Madgen Penny.
On the second power play, I'd say he has a spot, and whether
on
he's
the power play
able
one,
to move to the right side. On power play one, nah, probably not. Not to start.
I see. A question for Luciano here. He said, do you believe in Sutter or it's time for him to move on? The game is changing, and I don't see him changing with the game.
I believe in Sutter. I'm a big believer in Sutter. he's he's just awesome. He turned this team around. So you know, he gets a lot of flack for being, you know, pretty old school, but you know, he still has some very interesting possession based stuff. Like the Flames don't let up on the puck. They had a very strong possession game, and their advanced stats are excellent last year. So it's he does seem like an old rancher, but you know, there's Kirk Muller there too. He's drawing up some very interesting plays while that all happens. And just to build on that, I think Muller is going to be drawing up. He's going to be expanding the offense a little bit more. So right now we're seeing a very raw Flames team, but it's going to get quite polished. I think he was excellent last year and just drawing up these crazy plays where like two defensemen would pinch in at once off the draw, and then it's just. I think it's going to be interesting,
That's
and I'm a
awesome.
big fan of Sutter.
And I'll ask question, what was the biggest factor qui contributed to the Flames' great season last year after not making the playoff the year before?
They honestly hammered out so many bad habits that it looked like a completely different team. I think that you could attribute it to guys like Tanev and the a little bit of a breakout of Hannafin and Anderson, but really it was solid coaching and a reform and just hammering out bad habits. They were giving too many minutes to some guys and too few to others, and they just flipped the switch after Jeff Ward got fired, and it just suddenly we were just playing hockey the right way.
That's awesome. We know, the defense was solid last year, and they missed only 22 games. If you talk about the top six they have last year as the defense, they missed only 22 games overall. So
Yeah,
it's not happened a lot, and that's one under the reason I contribute this one under the reason they was successful last season compared to the year before that. But you're absolutely right. I agree with you. Question for you, and Matt Coronado.
he's looking pretty good. At World Juniors, he looked great. He's another guy that doesn't skate all that well, but he is just so skilled. It's going to be fun to see him live because he can't come to these camps because he's, NCAA. But man, I'm excited. I hope he doesn't leave. We're
Yeah,
getting kind of burned here in Calgary by these American players, but I hope he doesn't leave. I hope he doesn't leave.
Yeah, Coronado is a first of all first pick for the Flame 2 years ago. He was played with Sean Farrell with the USHL of Chicago Steel when they won the cup over there, and then he got his contract with Harvard University with Coronado, and they are now there for the second year. They are returning over there. It's the same situation with Montreal. They have Sean Farrell, so I know exactly what Coronado is. Honestly, it's too
Nice.
shifty player, too smart. Coronado have a great vision, and they have a really great chemistry between Farrell and Coronado when they play with the Chicago Steel. So it'll be really interesting. Coronado, I think, should be ready possibly next year or second year. The Flame will love it. He's
Excellent.
a great shifty guy, can move the puck very quickly, and he's a playmaker. He feel other players, teammates. It's not like a scorer. Like I don't expect him 35 goals, 40 goals, but he would give you a 30, 50, 60 point per year with a possibility of 30, 40 assists per season. That's the kind of player he is a Colorado since he's been
Excellent.
in hockey player. The next one here, do you believe Ochik has a useful role beside fighting or the same fighting out to keep up with his speed of the team?
Well, Lucic has looked pretty rough in camp. Has been an issue. Like he looks. I was watching the game earlier in the week, and it looked like he was made of wood. So I don't know if there's. I think he had a shoulder injury he got from getting taking a hit from Josh Archibald last year in the playoffs, and I don't think he's back yet. I don't think he's fully healthy yet. He's been throwing some very soft, nudges. There's been none of that mean Lucic this year in the preseason. So I don't know whether he's going to be too useful. This might be his last year. I don't know. It might not be fair to speculate. Maybe he's just got a busted shoulder still, but. Uh, Lucic is looking rough. I don't even know if he's going to do much fighting this year,
Yeah,
at
this
least in the
is
first
his
half.
last contract year is at 5.2. So it'll be an open
Yeah,
money for them for sure. That's they kick out the money of the Uberdo, so they have that kind of balance at the end of the day. So that'll be
yeah.
interesting. Marco Larabi, welcome aboard. Do you think the Spur Arena dressing room affect Flame ability to redeem player? Thanks for joining Trevor.
Oh, you're welcome. Uh, yeah, I'd say, yeah, like the facilities probably do have a bit of an effect. And like I was saying, it was so loud in the Oilers arena. I think that kind of affected them a little bit. It was loud in there, and the acoustics are pretty awful in the Saddle Dome. It's shaped like a saddle, so I don't think it was exactly designed to sound loud. It kind of diminishes the sound up to the top. So, yeah, I could see it. And you kind of have to come in through downtown, and it's kind of cut off by a river, so that might be a bit of a pain to get to at some points in the day. I could see it being an issue, and with the dressing rooms too. Yeah, I could see a more modern facility. I bet Monahan's a little happier with you know what he has going on in Montreal right now.
We have a player we didn't mention tonight was Killington, a defenseman over there. And we know last year he played a second pairing with Danev, and he had really a great year before, because the year before it was more Valley Mackey and the Killington was out after. So what is the expectation of Killington, and what he's right now at the main camp, and how you expect from him?
Well, he's missed camp this year. He has some family issues that he had to leave for, so we haven't gotten to get to see him yet, which is not great for Shillington, but they're going to give him a spot. Like, the organization isn't going to take his job just because he had something come up. So he was looking good last year. He ended up playing the last series with a separated shoulder. I don't know if you've played with a separated shoulder before, but it sucks. Like, I wouldn't. I've done it before. I got about 1 minute in and then I just called it. So I think that he should be much better this year. He's still developing physically, and he has the tools to be an excellent defenseman. And I think he's going to get back to it with Tanev this year. I think they're going to put that unit back together.
We push him. We wish him the best for sure. Luciano asked this question about Goodrow left and Kachuk leaving Calgary, and I know that the GM tried to, calm down everything about this effect, everything like that. What is the feeling now, and about from the fans, everybody, about the fact the club maybe don't want to play over there, or honestly, it just was just happening and that's it?
Well, we're a little worried about Coronado, that's for sure. He says he's down, though. He says he's into it. But, we've lost Kachuk, Gaudreau, we lost Fox. Uh, yeah, it's a bit of a sore spot. Like, imagine those three. And just, even Huberdeau and Gaudreau would have been great to just have around if Gaudreau just hadn't left. But, you move on. Everybody's happy with the return we got, and you kind of just got to live to fight another day. What can you do at the end of the day? I think Dustin Wolf's also an American, so he could split. You just got to plan. I think Brad Treliving is really planning around that, and I think a lot. Yeah, like the question asker mentioned, like there might be a trickle effect where GMs are starting to try and secure assets before it gets to the point where they're walking.
Yep, so right. I agree with you. We're going to fire up a couple of questions before you leave. We almost reached 1 hour. So, Marco, ask you this. What do you think about Dubé selling? Is just an energy guy with not top boss at those absence produce some point?
This year, he's a lot harder to knock off the puck. He looks a lot stronger. I think, yeah, if he can find a little bit more consistency, then he's a guy that could be, around 60 points year over year. But he gets quiet. He still has that tendency to kind of fade, and he never really. He's a winger. He's a center. He's a winger. You can't really figure it out. But his skating is so strong. You'd think he'd be a center. But yeah, all in all, I think he has the potential. I don't know whether it's going to be with Calgary, but I think he has the potential.
Oop. Two questions back to back, the same way. So first, would the Flame have the same plan like the last season against the Star and the Oilers? The next question is, Trevor, do you actually believe that the Flame are less built for the playoff with Catcher and Goodrow? So that's really, honestly, two good questions about you can answer that one over there. So honestly, the biggest question about the Oilers, what do you feel?
There's a way to play the Oilers, and I think the Oilers lost Josh Archibald and Zach Cassian, who did a lot of the dirty work. So they're going to be a different team to play. They'll be a lot less miserable to play this year. But in terms of playoff stuff, Gaudreau is a hard guy to play in the playoffs. But he's not a guy that you groan when you hear you have to play him. And Kachuk, you kind of do, but he just, he's got such a hot temper that he's injured after, game 2. So I think they're going to be a better team in the playoffs, just replacing those stars and then replacing that salary with what we got.
Yeah, absolutely about this. Um, we talk about predictions, so maybe not to tell a bit more because we talk about already about the Wegar contract, but possibly to tell us, do you believe he will sign a contract before the season starts, or you think there's going to be no negotiable and possibly to trade him at a trade deadline?
I think he's signing in the next 8 days before the season begins. I firmly believe it. It'd be a pretty big surprise.
Next question: do you feel Backlam is underrated or underappreciated at the longest flame on the team?
Oh yeah, he's always underrated. He's just so awesome. He's just been a defensive dynamo. He was the best player in the Oilers series, for the Flames at least. And yeah, he's always not fully appreciated. But that kind of goes with the trait of being a defensive player. Being a guy that's really hard to play against. You don't see the stats, so you don't really appreciate it as much.
So Backlam is 33 years old. We know Kadri now is there. Do you expect he will have less of TOI at some point because the reason because they are similar kind of players, Kadri Backlam. Like Backlam is really a two-way center. He really good on the back checking and he's very good on defensive zone coverage. And I don't say it's a little bit like I know Kadri what he can do. Again, with the opening player, but do you feel like he's going to have less two wides during the season?
Yeah, I think they'll split that time on ice up between those three, and then whoever's playing on the fourth line. I think they have Kevin Rooney there essentially to kill penalties, so it'll be kind of really just juggling three centers. I think so. You can kind of divvy that up. If there's a better if there was more minutes to a fourth line center last year, then you'd see him get Kadri get less, but I'd say right now they're both going to be getting a little less just because they're both there. And then there's Lindholm, and all four centers can play kill penalties extremely well. But Kevin Rooney
Awesome.
is really good at killing penalties. So I
First of all,
think
I
they'll
want
get
to
breaks
thank
done.
all the people ask your questions. I don't want to hold you too much, but I
Yeah,
want to finish
thanks,
this with.
guys.
That's the reason why I want to tell them, the people, is give us your prediction of your Pacific Division standing from the top to the bottom.
Okay. So I would say that I'm going to go. Let me just quickly. Okay, so I would start and say Edmonton's probably finishing top. There's the X factor being Jack Campbell, because Jack Campbell was really good in two months of last year. The first 2 months of the season he was over 0.955, but after that he was below 900. So goaltending notwithstanding, Oilers are at the top. Then I'd put Calgary, but there's a chance that Vancouver could be above them. I think those two are going to both finish around 105 points, something like that. And then we're kind of getting down into the Golden Knights. You don't really know what they're going to be because they're so injured, but I'm going to say that they're going to finish around 95 points, something in that area. And then we're getting lower and lower here, but we're going to be looking at San Jose is probably going to finish higher than Anaheim, uh, but both teams kind of have the potential to do better. But yeah, I would say Anaheim probably finishes just around 11th, and San Jose probably finishes or I guess 19th, and then San Jose probably finishes 17th, something like that.
What about the Kings?
Oh yeah, the Kings. Sorry, you caught me off the cuff there. Yeah, the Kings are a very interesting team because they took the Oilers to 7 games last year, but they got outskated by so much. But they're due for a step forward. I would say they'd be right in there with Calgary and Vancouver for 105 points.
I see. Um, do you believe 5 teams of the Pacific Division can make the playoff or only 4?
Uh, well, I mean the Central's in kind of a. Eh, I would say it's going to come down to the stretch drive, and we'll see where it's at. But yeah, I would say only 4.
I see. And then Calgary Flame, the playoff, where they going to go all the way or they will get out after which round?
Uh, matchups are tough, but it's a little early because it's so hard to tell what the Flames are this year. But you expect them to make the second round this year, but you don't until we really see the finished products rolling out around December, February. It's tough to say.
That's called a
The
prediction.
Flames so bipolar. Yeah, I know, but I think if they put it together and they're playing like they did last year, but with just a different roster, I think they're going to go to the third round. But if they are like the Flames can be, which
That's
is it's a
awesome.
bipolar club that could be very bad
That's
too.
awesome. First of all, we want to thank you for your time you gave to Hockey Nation. I'm sure how the people here tonight,
Yeah, thanks for
it's
having me.
really kind from you to do this for us. And hopefully we can cross again and invite you again. If you want to return, just let us know. We're going to
Yeah,
open the door for you anytime. And only way, the
you
way
got it.
to follow you guys, follow you, Trevor, is it only on Twitter? Is it the best way?
Twitter, yeah, you can follow me on there, hockeybuzz.com, and then the Flames articles. Trevor Neufeld is writing them, and you know what? Just if you read them and if you enjoy them, I put a lot of passion and heart into them, and I think you will. Uh, yeah, so just if you want to read that, I my Twitter is more just for fun facts and
Yeah.
things you might not notice.
That's awesome to hear that. Really. What is like? Do you write every day, or how many times per week you do?
I'd say I put about 5 articles a week, so I'll try and take a day off here or there. But yeah, they come out pretty solid.
That's awesome to hear that. Listen, Troy, it was a pleasure to meet you. First of all, secondly, you gave
Yeah,
us some great nuggets about the flame, and we really appreciate it again. And again, we're going definitely back and stay in touch together. And I would love to have you again on the season. Give us some upside, give us some of the what's going on with the flame, and of course the Pacific Division. That'd be awesome if you can do that. And again, everybody is excited. Thank you. I don't want to put everybody thanks, but I want to wish you. Thank you again for your time today. I can wait soon until the next time, my friend.
this was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm definitely down to do it again.
I would definitely invite you, my friend, Trevor. Thanks again to be with us tonight. We wish you an amazing, great evening, and can wait soon until the next time, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah, see you
Have a
next
good
time.
night. Thanks so much.
You too. Have a
All
good
right.
morning.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much. He was Mr. Trevor Neufeld for the hockeybars.com. If you really love the Calgary Flame, you can follow him. And of course, you can reach him on the Twitter. The show is not over yet. We're going to stay here a little bit more longer. We're going to talk about some news around the league. And if you have any question you want to talk about hockey right now, I'm here for you for about 7, 8 more minutes before we jumping on the Frenchy quiz at the end of the show, like we do all the time. And if you have anything we want to mention to you, Nick Zuski, Emil Eneman, and Joel Armia did not follow the team. They are right now in the Maritime for the next couple of days over there. They play 2 games Thursday night and Saturday night. And that's happening with them. So it'll be interesting what happening with Nick Zuski, what this bring to the team, and what kind of decision the staff, the Montreal Canadiens, to do with the defensemen, with the top 6+1. Can they go with 13-8? Can they go 14-7? The next couple of days going to be really interesting how they can. A guy like Michael Stone, we just talk about him at PDO for the Calgary doing. Flynn is doing very well over there. Can they add a veteran defenseman, whatever, a left defenseman, a right defenseman? Do you think they missed too much? Joel Emerson, are you open up to start the season with 3 rookies, Jack Harris, O'Brien, or Cooley inside the top 6 over there? Do you think they should put Hoffman or Tavorak on the trade somewhere? Do you think they should put a waiver forward like Byron, not Byron, but possibly Pesada or Armia or someone else? And like the list going on. So I can see right now, I just express to you about for 1 minute every kind of decision they have to do. And like you, like me, we don't know. I don't know. I just guessing. I just assume, and I try to get the most information I can know to see what's the best for each one of them. Can Slavkovsky start in with Montreal? Can Slavkovsky is better to go to Laval? What happened with the Mazar? And just great time of the year, my friend. And what I'm talking about Toronto, Same thing with Montreal. The same thing with Toronto. What they do with Nick Robinson? He's a top six. He's a bottom six. Look like Tavares possibly he start the season now. That's gender salary cap over there. And what happening right now with other defensemen? It's just a lot of team are going to make a big decision. Could be impact their season at some point. Waiver someone or whatever they want to do. So a lot of stuff right there about this. Thanks so much in our top about Trevor. We really appreciate it. One more week we get before the regular season. Alan just said about this. Yeah, absolutely right about this. And we're going to know, Alan, what is the roster look like. Definitely the carousel going to start at with Montreal on the defenseman for sure. Expect everybody I've just mentioned to you as the prospect for the Montreal Canadiens how going to play game in Montreal. I don't know how many they would play all year long. I think Coley is going to play the most game if he's not hurt. Harris is another one. How many Jagai? How many Barron? And, if they take the decision about the rewards, I think Jack I should be there. If they take the decision for the benefit of the player, I think he should start in Laval or he could be with Montreal. I just don't want to have any prospects sit in the fans and the stand to watch the game. I think they should be on the ice all the time. Look like Pesada will make the team, Alan said. Really possibly about this 0-0 RG. Thanks so for all of this. Already to the AB, Luciano. If you talk about Randall Riley, the problem with him is going to turn 32 years old. He's really a good shape. And unfortunately, Montreal cannot afford, in my eyes, to sign a UFA. At least they're helping the team to get about. I'm not saying Randall Riley is not going to help the Montreal Canadiens, but with the center they have, I'm not sure it will be the best player to sign as a UFA. They have to look in more as a defenseman, more like a top pairing, and then possibly a goaltender, and possibly add more toughness under forward. But great point. I think the AB should make the Mercer an offer. He is on the pedal with Edmonton. I don't know, Marco. Left defenseman. We have enough for left defenseman. I think Michael Stone it would be my pick, my first pick already. And I mentioned this in June and July. They should look in for Michael Stone, 32 years old. He's a good offensive player, and he can help in that team over there. Better to Chris Whiteman, in my eyes, on the defensive zone overall. This first regular season game is Friday. Run. Talk about Nashville versus the San Jose. Yep. They would be forced to trade Robinson once they realize that their defense stink. Great point, Luciano. Robinson is really hard, and Dubas missed the point right there. He doesn't want to trade him. And hockey guy is just sometimes is cruel. What I said that is like, let's see Bunting play with Nylander in my minor. Now John Tavares play, and now he have Nylander. And because the situation with the leave, they have to remove Kerfoot, and you put Kerfoot third center. And then you put Nate Robinson as the winger to Tavares and Nylander. Let's see, like Robinson does not score for 5 games, 6 games. Now Tavares have 2 points on those 5, 6 games. Mr. Keefe, Shelton, they gave me $11 million per year. I need to make some point here. I don't want to play with Nate Robinson. Can we bring back Kerfoot? That's happened in hockey. And my point to you, I think for Toronto, like Luciano said, I think Nate Robinson should be on the trade bait to get something solid in return. Can they be with the check run for the Arizona Coyotes? I don't know. But I think for me, that's someone they have to follow up with. They have to see this one at some point, possibly to trade him. I could be wrong here, but great point, Luciano, about this. Alan Montembeault will be the goalie. Yeah, definitely about this. Abel Jacka was actually working at the Costco during the... Yeah, absolutely right about this. You have to take a note about this, guys. When he said he was Costco working there, he was 18 years old, like a job, like I work at the post office at the airport. and Mirabel. So it was a job over there because he have to pay his bill, everything like that, because the parent, anyway, I don't want to go deep, but you're absolutely right. He have no contract at that moment. He have no clue what he's going to make an NHL. How you rank the Pacific Division top at the bottom? Mine is Edmonton, Calgary, LA, Vancouver, Vegas, Anaheim, Seattle, San Jose, Arizona. Yeah, too many teams, King. Arizona is on the Central Division. I don't see Anaheim very high. You put them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Battle with San Jose, possible. I think I like your point, but I think for me, I understand Ron love the Kings. I don't want to go against him, but I have a question. I'm really questionable about the Kings for me. I don't know. I hope the best for them, but would be some. The best is a right shooter. Really? I thought I saw him score a goal on the left side. Yeah, he's a right shooter. Well, I don't know why he played on the left defenseman with Edmonton when I saw him. So. Yeah, 0 goal and the last 91 game in the NHL, by the way. But again, you bring some veterans to return that. I wouldn't have no problem with that on this one with there. It's another big guy, it's a 6'1", 195. You have veteran play over 7-9 year in NHL, 12 years in NHL. It could be a one like this for sure. But I don't know why he was on the left side when he played again with Edmonton. Dallas is playing Colorado. Sharks, thanks so much. And on top, I'm looking is a gut future about this. Yes, Alan, I agree with you for sure. Good evening, Mr. Dan Asham. Thanks to be a part of the show. Is ranking too high. King Vegas. No way the lead trade Robinson is still on the ELC trade top 9 with low cost. But if you trade a low cost top 9, the problem right now, you don't get someone in return. And I don't know, but if Toronto want to go somewhere, you're not going to go win the Stanley Cup with Nate Robinson and your lineup. I apologize, but you're not going to win with him. The problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs, they will have to bring some veteran at the bottom. And I think that we have to try to figure out a defenseman to helping them on the right D if they have to. Because right now, they have Obi Kubel, Camp, Ekvall skating right now. And Godet is there. If you take Nick Robinson, play him only 12, 14, 15 minutes, I'm not sure it's a great about this one there. If you want to trade for something, you have to give something back. And I think for me, I would give Nate Robinson, and I will, anyway, you have Matthews Nice is coming very soon. For me, I will do that way. If they want to get something good in defense, or they get Jason Demers, who they want to get, a third pairing, they already have Jordan Ben, Victor Mete, everything like that. But you keep Robinson. But for me, it will not play top 6 with Toronto because it's just what I mentioned to you. At least he produces a lot. Question for the Leaf to move up another level. They need 2 top defensemen. It would be forced to make a trade to him that he won't like it. Yeah. That's the one the back there about this Luciano. I think they have 2 players they have to add for me. Is to add a good tops. For me, Morrison, I'm worried. Justin Hall is not the answer, and they don't have anybody after that. Lindgren and Sandin, they are. Lindgren is more like a top pairing defenseman, and Giordano is going to play behind Morrison and Raleigh. And if they want to get that kind of really deep, They have to go with a right defenseman, at least a top 4. And I would add a guy like Coleman, Goodrow. Really, Nick Paul was a great additional players at the trade deadline at the bottom 6. I don't have no name right now to mention to you, but I think that would increasing their chance over there. But again, I'm turning out. I really like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I really like the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I put them at my top team in Atlantic. They're going to finish, possibly to win the President Trophy this year. It would be at least top 3. And second round minimum, possibly third round for the Toronto Maple Leafs. All good. I still question certain things with the Kings. Yeah, me too, King. Can Philip Dano repeat? Can Trevor Moore repeat? Can Quick can be repeat again? I think Quick play is maybe his best year the last couple of years. I like Peterson, but he's not guaranteed. I think they give him a lot of money, by the way. And I thought my friend is okay, still not active for hockey. Live Nation Station. Then I will check for you. I will send you a text after this place here. Do you think the Nashville will miss the playoff? No. Once they're going to come back, they be deep. The problem, Marco, they don't have a top 4. Who do you put top 4? Do you believe Justin Hall is your number 4 defenseman for them? That's my biggest problem with that. They don't have a top 4. They have a top 3. And then after that is like, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Have a good night. Alan, do you think the Kraken could make the postseason? No, William. The Leafs have no money to add another piece. Yeah, I understand that, but if you make a trade to get retaining your money, everything like that, and they trade Justin Hall, they open up $2 million there, but I understand your point of view. They are limited about the money, for sure. How many more years until Disho or Tobes join Laval Rocket? Tobes will be interesting. I think it would be next season. He's already like 3 years minimum over there. Disho is signing a 2-year contract with Fonlanda. I don't see. I will see Tobes before Disho with the Laval Rocket. King. They have a regular, but they don't have a playoff defense. So Luciano, I agree with you. 5-0 RG. Thanks so much about this. Raleigh, Brody, Giordano, Lindgren, Senden, all not bad. Yeah, but they are no like. If you consider Giordano as a defenseman number 3, you're in the bad situation, Marco. Because he's not anymore. He's 38 years old, and at some point he's cannot carry on everything about this. So for me, they will need to add a defenseman 3, number 4. They have a lot of defensemen 4, 5, 6, possibly one of them 4, but they don't have that the top core 4. And when you go that level to go all the way to the end, look, consider them, Marco, to the Colorado over there. You know already, and I don't want to be sarcastic about this, but you think about, look about Tampa Bay Lightnings. Look the defenseman, big guy, and they can 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", 6'5". They are huge over there. And that's what's happening. When you go that level, deep in the playoff, you need those kind of hockey player, bigger, stronger, and they can play hockey. And look, Calgary, what they carry on them. They are Zadorov, Kobrenson, Danev, and they have a big team. I understand they wait and they lost, but if you go in that level, second round, third round, they need to get better on the defensive. That's what I agree with Luciano about this. And again, they are great for, I think Luciano said a great thing for the season. When you hit the playoff, They need bigger for me. Marco, problem is most of the league defensemen are top 3-6. Yeah. And Neufeld has been played sound for a few shifts. I smell a trade coming, but Neufeld sound will get you 10 more goals, Luciano. My point to you, Luciano, would be how he is on the face-off and how he go on the defensive zone coverage. Because now you have to go all the way back deep zone, helping your defenseman. Then you have to go back all the way back. That's a big. And again, I did not see enough to watching him or to judge him. By the way, I just open up right there. Marco said, Bonding Matthews Manor, Nelano Tavares, Robinson, Jack Rock, Kerbuk, Obergall, Evergall, Kemp, or ever about this. Yeah, I understand that, but can Robinson carry on Tavares? My point, can Robinson produce with them constantly? We know he never did that yet. Can you start that level at that way? You give him a top 6 at this age where he never produced regularly, or you put him on the third line, and then after that you move up, something like that. If I was them, honestly, I would put up Kerfoot, down Robinson, keep Jack Rock with him, and possibly Ekval or Obi Kubel, and that would be better. King Norway Giordano is a number 6. At this age of his career, maybe play top 4 as a pinch, but he's not signed for longer. But I think Marco is for him is more like a top pairing defenseman. On my eyes, add a second pairing defenseman for what he bring on the 82 game and plus the playoff. If you go on the playoff to get Giordano second pairing, you expose your team to not produce what you tried. It's because every time you get there, that the team are thinking, oh, we are so close right now, what we need. And you go with that we have on your hands, I think they're not going to go nowhere or not deep with Giordano at the second pairing, on my eyes. When you have Justin Old on your right, or you have Len Green, that's not good enough to go deep in the playoff. Because at some point you play every night or every 2 nights, and your second round, third round, and you go to Stanley Cup, you need deep, you need better, on my eyes. Let's say you're not right about this. I think so is number 6, but I don't see him play like Rand Sutter for the Dallas Star. He's a good, he takes shape, he's in shape, but I would take Rand Sutter before him. Rand Sutter play a solid top 4. I don't think so. Giordano is that same quality like Rand Sutter. Did you bring a top 4? You will have to move another money. Not sure Kerfoot money get you here. No, Marco. Like my point to you, check about this. They go get check run, and I'll just give you an example: $4.5 million, right? And then after that, you trade a prospect like Robinson, you trade a pick, whatever it is, right? And then you slide a Marsden over there. That's give you $5.5 million in return. And you tell to Arizona, hey, listen, we'll give you this, and you have to suck it up. One of my contract at $5.5 million. That's the way I would make the deal with Arizona Coyotes. And then if you want to go to trade deadline, but at the trade deadline, we'll see what they look like. But I will be to make a trade at 3-way to suck it up 25% to 50% of check run until the following year. The money will be open up more for them. That would be my suggestion for them. I mean, they will regress quickly. The league is getting faster and faster. Joe is getting slower every year. Yeah, for again, Joe Dano doing well for the league, but third pairing, not second pairing, on my eyes. Marco, there are no market for Kerfoot right now. And it said maybe near and the traded line. Leave too much Ben Adler and not enough developing player. This is their failure exam. Dermot Luciano. It's so strange, Luciano, when you think about this. they have one of the top, and I don't say the best, the top people hire about analytics. And I don't know how they develop. You know, Stephen Robinson was there with the leave, and other people was in charge about the development. But I don't know how they do this. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like, Nicolas was there. Adam Nicolas played with the coach over there in Toronto. I don't know the transition about, that would be a great question to ask to Jack Hahn about this. He's been a part of this part. And the Toronto Marlins guy in American League has been great the last couple of years until last season with veterans, of course, but still. And I don't know why they cannot make that kind of transition between the American to them. Let's see what the next one over there. How many more years does Dermott have left compared to Jono? Should have under Dermott and development. Yeah, I understand. Yep, 2 first round pick, a prospect. You are right that we need to unload a contract too. Yeah, about for sure. Now, Marco, this was the 2 first round pick. It was last season. I think right now they know the market is not looking good for them to get a 2 first round pick for Czech Run. This is all around the league now. So I think they will never get a 2 first round pick for Czech Run. This is done deal around the league. Nobody will give them a 2 first round pick for them for Czech Run. And Czech Run does not want to play there anymore between you and me for what I heard. Do you have any prediction for AB looking at some possible waiver claim? I make a video about this. I make a couple of names. You know, they don't have a lot at that moment, like P.O. Joseph at Pittsburgh, Valimaki for Calgary. Can they put Michael Stone over there? Possibly Jason Demers is another one over there. Zetterlund, it was another one for New Jersey Devils. They have a couple of forward, but that's not helping them. They need to targeting two area. A goaltender backup and a defenseman. Can they get Martin Jones? Is it better to Montembeault? Can they get Dakar, the goaltender, and Kraken? I know they let go Hellberg, but can you get a goaltender somewhere? Louis Domingue for the New York Rangers. Can Montreal take more advantage to go focus more on those kind of older at Montembeault? I don't know. Our defenseman is really what a Montreal I need for me right now. And I talk with Inartap. Yeah, I don't know when I talk to him all the time, but you cannot, in my eyes, starting with Harris, Jacky, and Cooley on your top 6 defensemen against the Toronto Maple Leafs, October 12th. If you do that, it's failure. It's failure. It's like, guys, sorry, but we give up. Jake Allen, Gallagher, those players, we said, oh my God, forget about the season already. The best they can do is to get 2 defensemen prospect in the lineup all the time. That's it. That's all. They cannot carry on 3 prospect. This is going to be a failure completely. That would be really strange if they do that. Like, I would be like shock my life. Like, wow. That's how they want to build a team, to bring 3 prospects like that. If they do that, they better to bring Safkowski, Mezar, Owen Beck, and bring people like that and wave everybody out of the lineup. Because they cannot carry on. They saw that. You see that already in the exhibition game when the roster of NHL are not done. Haber cannot carry on everything. And Harris struggle too. The only one, and they make a mistake like it, is Cooley. So you can 3 defensemen over there. This is completely, they will be so bad. But that's my own opinion about this one over there. Who do you think is gone at the trade deadline for the Montreal? Leave are gonna push hard this year, but they better to be careful about the kill. Morgan Rallinger, yeah, about that. Yeah, so right. Who do you think is gone at the trade deadline for the Montreal? But, all the UFA, the Dadonov, the Drouin, the Monahan, those kind of players, they could get out king at the beginning. Can they trade Josh Anderson? Can they trade Joel Edmondson? Can they trade Christian Dvorak? Can they trade Mike Hoffman? That's other players I would mention, but I don't have no answer who they're going to do. The Hawks have 2 first-round picks. Hopefully, they can get a first-round pick for the Kane too. Definitely, they were going to get that one over there. Chicago got 2 firsts for gel about this one over there. Yeah. And I'm not sure they will accept this again, then probably, if they will do it again. What chance do you see the app making in the future? As too far, I don't know if you talk about short-term, middle-term, or long-term. Williams, will be hard to give you the best answer about this one over there. I still believe they're going to make something happening before the season start. If you talk about short, at the trade deadline, I'm just talking about this. At the long-term or a little bit middle-term, 3 areas they need to fix. First of all, they need to fix the defenseman, top pairing defenseman. They need to add 1 player over there. They need to get a goaltender situation. That's a number 2. And then get some kind of toughness and skill. Those 3 highlights I just gave to you are coming from Jeff Gordon. I'm not smart enough to do that. I was worried Montreal will snack Baudin from Chicago on the waiver. Yeah, it was there for sure. Marco Descent recall down to American Hockey League. 3 rookie demand is only temporary until Edmondson return. But whatever in our tap, Edmondson return. If he's coming back only in November, that's over 15 games right there. That's too many games. You cannot. You're not going to win. You're going to have maybe 1 win. If you go with 3, you saw that all exhibition game, every game. Barron fell 3 games. Harris got a couple of mistakes over there. He's okay, but he's not great. Aber, yeah, what? How many games Aber have a great game? A great game. Not a good game, a great game. 0. He got beat many times. He have 1 period, he does no cover. I understand who he is. But he's not like he did not play. The best one they got is Goulet. And Goulet have, the last game, he make a big turnover at the blue line. So they all make mistakes, I understand. But if you go with 3 defensemen, this is completely going to be bad. Whatever, I would be interested to give me some excuse about this one over there. But that will be a thank for art for better. Yeah, but it's not how I see that for me. I see Matt is going to create a bad culture if they go that way. That's what I see this me. They would be really questionable inside the locker room right away at the beginning about that. And then now they start possibly without Suzuki. Imagine that. If they don't have Suzuki at the lineup at the full roster. Everything changed with no Edmondson. Is anything like last year? It's a total guess what we come back. A back problem or a reload where up isn't it? Maybe inside his contract said, you know what? My contract said I cannot play before Christmas. Who knows? But I can see that.